It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News for this, the 28th day of January 2020. Welcome aboard. Probably have some new folks out there today. Just a couple little business things to get out of the way before we get to the news. The news is all about this stupid coronavirus. There's just nothing else in the world going on except that in travel and cruise space right now. But anyway, before we get to that, a couple little things to touch base on. One, we have had a tremendous subscriber run here the last month or so. We're up to 1,746. So probably today or tomorrow we'll cross over that 1,750 threshold. Appreciate all of you being have subscribed to this channel. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, we regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, including cruise ships, ports of call cruises themselves. We do our interview shows, which have got a little bit of news on that here shortly, called Chillie Chats. And of course, we do this travel and cruise industry news 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. And then we do all kinds of little special stuff. Like, for instance, I'm leaving on a cruise Saturday, actually 2 cruises. And I had two little chores to do this morning to get ready for. I do a little bit every day. One was to get my luggage tags ready, which I did. So there is the Zuiderdam, and then it'll be followed by the Carnival Sunrise. So I have my luggage tags all ready to go. That much is done. The other thing I did this morning, and I set today aside because the time frame is right, was to really give a good weather check to see if I'm going to get any unusual weather for the next 2 weeks. And at this point, it looks like it's going to be 80 to 85 every day wherever I am. It ain't bad. So I'm going to have really nice weather for the 2 cruises back to back. So the other thing that is news for this morning, Saturday morning, I will not be doing this because I'm going to be at Washington National Airport. I got to get that, drop my truck off at 5 a.m. At the long-term parking place and go in and get checked in on JetBlue. I'm flying JetBlue down to Fort Lauderdale. So I'll be at the airport. I won't be in my space here. If something major happens, I mean, maybe I can pull the computer out and do something from the airport, but that's kind of risky. So we're just going to count on not doing anything Saturday morning, okay? We'll go live as soon as I get on the ship Saturday on the Zuiderdam. I'm planning on doing a live broadcast, at least one every day for the duration on both cruises. It can be about what's going on the boat, what's anything that we're getting ready to do. I don't know, whatever I decide to start talking about. Then we're also going to try to do our news shows as regularly scheduled, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday mornings. It'll be interesting to see if I can keep my news sources rolling while I'm at sea, but we'll find out. So that is ahead for us. So let's not count on this Saturday. And then as we get into the cruises, we're going to be doing stuff every day on a live basis. And if you miss any of the live broadcasts, folks, always you could check to the YouTube channel because everything becomes a video before it's over with. Not sure exactly if I'll have any difficulty doing that from afar, but we'll find out. The other thing that I'm hoping works out, our friend Jason from Pittsburgh is going to be on the Carnival Panorama the same time I'm on the Zuiderdam. He sails on Saturday as well, only from Los Angeles. That's of course does the Mexican Riviera, goes to Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, and Cabo. But he'll be on the Panorama as I'm on the Zutterdam, and we are going to attempt, and folks, I say attempt, to do a Chillie chat with Jason being my guest on board the Panorama. So some of you saw Tom Henry, our friend that was on the Norwegian Sun this past week. We did a Chillie chat with him on the Sun, and we're going to attempt, and the reason I say attempt, because it's a 50-50 proposition if the technical issues can all be handled on the fly. So, and if this gets way over my head, folks, but it has to do with bandwidth on each ship and the bandwidth meshing between, I don't know. But anyway, I'm told maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. It has never, as far as I can tell, there's never been a ship-to-ship live stream before. So we're going to do a first, and we're going to attempt to do a first. So hopefully at some point in time, and we haven't pinned down the exact time, Jason was thinking it would be interesting to do it Saturday when we're both, have a little bit of time. But my thinking is he needs to spend some time on the ship and food and so forth. And so we got some information to pass along about the Panorama. The same token, I've never been on the Zutterdam, so I'd like information to pass on the Zutterdam so we could compare notes. So I'm not sure when we're going to do it. We're going to attempt it, but that's going to be also sometime during the first week of cruising with our friend Jason from Pittsburgh, who is on our space quite often as a guest. So that is what's ahead. So no show Saturday because I'll be at Washington National Airport. And then I'll fly to Fort Lauderdale and get on the first boat, Saturday afternoon and sail Saturday evening. So that's what's ahead, but I'll be with you almost every day. So now to get on to actually the news for today. The stupid coronavirus is just, it's dominating everything in our space, in the travel and cruise industry news space. It keeps getting worse. Where's this thing going to go? Who knows? How's it going to get stopped? Who knows? Currently, a bunch of the cruise lines have canceled basically all China sailings. That's where the epicenter is in Wuhan, China. The ones that are mostly affected are Costa, which has canceled a couple sailings of the Costa Serena, a couple sailings of the Costa Atlantica, a couple sailings of the Costa Venezia, and 3 sailings of the Costa Neo-Romantica. So they're the ones that's the hardest hit so far. Now keep in mind, folks, if this thing keeps going, there's going to be a lot more of this. But you're talking about a major dent already in some of these cruise lines in their income, just from what's canceled right now. So this could be an ongoing thing that we have to talk about for a while. Royal Caribbean has revealed that due to the outbreak of the coronavirus, they had to cancel the Spectrum of the Seas January 27th departure out of Shanghai. MSC is another cruise line that's being impacted. The Splendida, January 28th sailing from Shanghai has been canceled. And there's a good possibility that the next cruise will also be canceled. However, that has not been done yet. And Dream Cruises, which is a luxury cruise line from Genting, has canceled the stop in Guangzhou it was scheduled yesterday. The 27th departure out of Singapore was going ahead on the Genting Dream. So And the numbers which have been reported are all over the map, and there's been reports of fake news, and it's getting to be a mess. But as of the best I can tell this morning from my sources is that 4,000 people around the world have been infested with this coronavirus. Most of them directly associated to the Wuhan province in China. But there are cases now have been reported in the United States, Canada, France, Australia, Japan. So far, there's been more than 50 deaths, and I think I've got some later numbers on that. So that's what the cruise lines thus far have canceled. Apparently, the Chinese government, of course, one of the problems is how much can you believe from what the Chinese government says, but it appears that they're doing everything in their power to prevent this thing from spreading. And like we say, several of the cruise lines have completely suspended their operations for mainland China. Also, travel agencies have been instructed to stop booking group tours, which make up the bulk of cruises leaving China. I wasn't aware of this, but they're still huge in groups. You know, in this country now, we don't do near the groups that we used to do. It didn't become financially attractive the recent years as it used to be. But anyway, there's still China obviously is a big group area. It's specifically bad timing over there because this is the start of the Chinese New Year. The main celebration day was earlier this week, and people tend to travel over that extended holiday period. So obviously that's affected the cruise industry and the travel industry in that part of the world immensely. So the latest figures, according to the Center for Disease Control, they are calling this a new respiratory virus, which was first identified in Wuhan, China. Although the specific source has not been determined, it is believed to have originated as an animal source. I'm not sure why they think that, other than the last two big viruses from that part of the world. One was from cats, which was the SARS virus that the Chinese government lied about forever. And MERS, which goes back further, came from camels. So they're saying it is from some kind of animal source, but they're not sure what. And now, of course, it's spreading person to person. According to the CDC, so far, over 3,000 people have been diagnosed around the world, and over 80 deaths have been attributed or related directly to the virus. So that's not good. Currently in the United States, there's 110 patients in 26 states that are being evaluated. Of those, 5 tested positive. 32 tested negative as of yesterday. So, yeah, we've got a few cases in this country, but not a bunch yet. Now, what do you do to protect yourself as much as possible, especially if you're going to be traveling? Obviously, in traveling, we're going to be around a lot more. You know, I'm traveling starting in a couple of days. So, we're going to be around a lot more people that could be in this circle of things that have been exposed, and that person exposed to another, and it goes on down the line. At the moment, there's no vaccine available to combat the coronavirus infection, but the CDC says that you can reduce your risk of infection by doing the following. Wash your hands often with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Well, that is pretty, you think that's pretty simple. But if you are sick or starting to show any kind of symptoms, stay home. Don't go out in public. If you're under the weather, be a lot more diligent about staying away from people, and avoid close contact with others that are under the weather. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue when you cough or sneeze, then throw the tissue in the trash and wash your hands. Clean and disinfect objects and surfaces that you are coming in contact with. And if you have any of these concerns or symptoms of this, contact your doctor immediately. So, I mean, pretty common sense kind of stuff, but apparently not enough people are doing it. But anyway, this whole thing started in China. It's growing. I don't know. I can't tell if it's getting faster and faster. It's kind of like a snowball running downhill, you'd think. But I guess we're just going to have to wait this one out and see what happens. So, not a good situation at all, folks. And unfortunately, not much we can do about it. Okay, I've got one other story here, but before I do that, let's bring in. Do you have a bad back, bad hips, bad knees, or any other mobility issues? Think about Scootaround. For scooters, walkers, wheelchairs, even oxygen needs, delivered right to your cabin. Scootaround for all your mobility needs on your upcoming cruise. Okay, and I will be using Scootaround on both my cruises. I talked to them a couple days ago just to make sure that they have the correct cabin numbers, because cabins changed. So they got the right ones, and my scooters will be in my cabins on each ship when I check in. That's the plan, at least. So that's Scootaround. If you are going on a cruise anywhere in the near future and you are looking for excursions, by all means, check out my website and Viator Excursions. They'll save you some money. They're good folks. They got a lot of stuff to offer. Let's see, for excursions worldwide, you can go to that link and just type in wherever you're going, and that'll bring up, a bunch of excursions. The little code there, 81039, that's so that I get a little credit for it and make a few pennies. So that's for excursions. Scootaround, if you're using, if you have mobility needs or you need things like oxygen for a cruise, you go to, that's StreamYard. That's StreamYard. That's my streaming people. Scootaround, there it is. There's the website for Scootaround. Use that code, that 11137 for Scootaround. That will guarantee you the best price that they have available, and I also get credit for that. And that makes a few little shekels for the website to support what we do here in our silliness. So one other story this morning. One of the things that has bothered me above anything else is talking about Azi-pods. It seems like there's been more stuff about Azi-pods. I didn't even know what excuse my French, Azi-pod was a year ago. But Carnival Fantasy is sailing a modified itinerary due to technical issues which is impacting the ship's cruising speed. Now, notice, folks, they're not calling it Azi-pod issues. The Disney cruise ship, which is based out of Port Canaveral, is currently on an altered itinerary due to a technical issue that requires the ship to sail at reduced speed. Does that sound familiar, folks? Does that sound like the Azi-pod issues that we've had in a number of ships this past year? The cruise line modified the itinerary for the sailing, 7-day Eastern Caribbean sailing, which is going on now. And if you pre-booked the excursions that got screwed up because of the modifications, they're making, onboard credits available and all that stuff. The other thing that they are saying is that maybe that's why they're not calling it Azi-pod issues, is that they hope to have it fixed throughout this cruise, and their sailing come Saturday will be back to normal. So, but it has all the symptoms. If it smells like a duck, it waddles like a duck, it looks like a duck. Well, anyway, it has all the symptoms of an Azi-pod issue. Disney is not calling it that. They're just saying it is affecting their speed. So, and they're going to have it fixed and be ready to roll February 1st. I hope that's correct. History tells me there might be some more issues, but anyway, all right, let's see. Douglas Stackpole was, hey, Douglas, how you doing? Is watching us over on Facebook. And let's see who else is here. Gretchen's here. What does Gretchen say? Gretchen, don't worry about us Saturday morning. We'll wait to enjoy your show on board. Thank you, Gretchen. Yeah, I was thinking that I could squeeze the show in too, but it's just there's not enough hours in the day on Saturday for me. Unless if something major happens, I'll pull the computer out and set up in the airport someplace, sit on the floor. Who cares? But just to do a regular show, no, I'm not. But yeah, I will be back and doing this stuff live as much as possible over the next 2 weeks. You guys will probably get sick of seeing me, but that's okay. You can turn me off, but I'll be there in case you want to watch. So anyway, that's it for this morning. Like I said, there wasn't much in the way of news. This whole issue with the coronavirus is awful. But there's, it's just taking up all the space. So where there might have been little things happen that we could have come up with something interesting to talk about today, we got to talk about that. And I hate that, but that's what it is. So that's it for today, guys. I will be on as regularly scheduled on Thursday. As always, we appreciate a thumbs up for the channel. If you can give us a thumbs down too, either way, it lets YouTube know that somebody's out there watching us. And as always, I appreciate you guys being here. I'll be back on Thursday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Saturday will be not on the air at 6, and will be sometime as soon as I get on the boat Saturday afternoon. Will be the first live broadcast from the Zooter Dam. So that's it for today. This is Chillie, the fat travel guy. You guys be good to each other and smile a lot.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.